as you level up and as your circumstances and everything changes, you change and you can still love that person, but you're not operating from that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't get mad with them because they're still there. But that is still, I think, a boundary of like, okay, but you know, I do love her, but I also know who she is. And I'm not that anymore.
Right.
You know, and then handle it with grace. And, you know, because sometimes it's just like, oh my gosh. But then you get into that guilty, like, why am I? I'm not anything better. And I'm like, but even that, and like you said, acceptance, self-acceptance, knowing who you are, knowing your own boundaries.
Yep. And I'm guilty of being that, and where I'm the first person to say, that is not for me. I am not that friend that you want to take with you to there. Like, I have some, I would say one of my closest friends. Her youngest is, I think, 11 or 12. And of course, you know, my youngest is 18. I am so far past the little kid annoying stage. Like, I don't want to be around your damn kids. I don't want to be on kids on vacation.
She don't like your kids.
I don't want to be around damn kids. I don't want your damn kids around me. So my friends, I mean, seriously. So, and I love my kids, and I used to love little kids, but I had enough of them.
We don't have the patience anymore.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly. And Robin's over here cracking up because
I'm like, this is so great.
So I have some friends with the little ones, right? Mm-hmm. And I had some crazy friends. You know who you are out there who decided to have a baby in your 40s. Now, all right,
you are busted.
But
I do not want that wine.
Listen,
keep
I still
that
love
wine
you,
for
but
me.
I don't want to be around for the little 1-year-old birthday parties. I'm sorry, that's not me. So I have friends who, like I said, one of my closest friends, her little girl's 12. She just had like a birthday party. I wasn't invited. I was like, you don't have to invite me.
And you didn't feel bad at all, right?
I did not feel bad. And I know she loves me, but she's like, no, I know you don't like kids. I'm like, listen, I am not heartbroken. I will send her a Venmo, and that is a birthday gift. You know, she can go shopping or whatever.
But that's a perfect example of what we
that's
were
what
just
I mean.
saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, she goes on cruises. Sometimes when they take all their kids, and I'm like, how many of you bring in your kids? Because that's not my cruise. I don't want to go. Because when I'm on a cruise, I stay away from the kids zone. Like, I mean, reality. I mean, and I say that, I raise my hand, like, that's not for me. Don't invite me. You know, same thing with people like, you know, I still have friends who are like into like going out every weekend and bar hopping and doing all that. Cause they're like, I have a lot of friends who don't have any kids either. Their kids are adults and they actually go drinking with their kids. And, cause they're all older now. That's not me. I don't want to do that. And so they got over, they're not inviting me anymore, which is fine because I'm like, I'm not going to go. So you don't need to invite me to those
so
things.
they know your expectations.
They know my expectations, which is like, and I don't get hurt.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, please go out bar hopping. I just do not need an invite because I'm not going to go.
Right. Now on the flip side of that, my kids are grown, but I have grandkids. And so some of my friends have, well, like one of my good friends now, she's just now having her grandkids. And they're like toddlers. And my grandkids, the youngest is like 5. But hers are like babies. But we connect on that level, another level now, because that is another level of our friendship, because we now have conversation as it relates to the grandkids. But I do have friends who, they don't have grandkids. And it's like, if I have my grandkids for the weekend and I want to take them to the park or whatever, I can't call them because they don't have grandkids. They're not going to want to go.
Exactly.
So I agree with that. It's like, when you know your expectations for the friends that you have and the things that they do and vice versa, you're good.
Yeah.
And it actually inadvertently takes a lot of pressure off of other people.
Trust me.
Because they're like, oh my God, do we... I'm good. I'm tired. I'm grown. I love you. Y'all have a great time.
That's it.
Yes.
You know?
And that even reminds me of like another end. So like, I would say like my best friend. She is like my ride or die, my backdoor friend. I'm going to call her that. Her name's Rachel. If she's listening, she better be listening.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
If you don't hear this, you're in trouble.
I like Rachel.
Oh, you not a backdoor friend. You got the side. You got the garage door, possibly.
But she's like she's a realtor. She's doing amazing in her job. I've seen her go through different careers. This has been great for her. And she has now, of course, her own new network of friends because of all the realtors and stuff. She's very involved in the community. She meets all these people. So she has these friends that she goes out with and she goes to events with. She's even going on an all-girls cruise with them. And it's like, we have a good enough connection to where I wouldn't want to go with all these people I don't know. So go hang out with them, go do your thing. Same thing. I can call her up and say, hey, you know what? We haven't caught up in like 2 months. We haven't seen each other. We'll go have dinner. But like, that is her group for her networking, her thing. And she understands my thing too. So like that mutual respect is, I think, so hard to come by.
It is.
It really is.
And when you find it in a friend, those are the friends that you hold on to.
And you fight for.
Right. I was going to say, you hit it.
Sometimes fight
even if
Yes.
sometimes, yeah. Even if sometimes because you got to process and go, okay, is this friendship worth it? Then you go through all the little points. Oh, yes, it is. And blah, blah, blah. So you have to fight hard. And I think because anything worth having is worth fighting for. Right. So you do have to, you got to get down and pull your sleeves up and go, okay, right. Like if we don't get this together, I'm going to fight you.
Yep. And that's the thing. Thinking about even like the ones who are just like, let's say young adults who are going through that transition of like, I know both my kids have gone through that. Like, okay, they're going out to college. They're at a different, some of them are not going out to college. Some of them are still at home or doing their own thing. Like, so I know, Anaya's going through that now too with like, some of the closest friends that she's had are not going along with her or like going their own journey. And so like, seeing her go through that and seeing these young adults say like, oh my gosh, this person is not calling anymore. We're going different ways. And it's like almost like a grief process. Wouldn't you say sometimes?
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny because I use grief a lot and because I think like when we talk about grief again, it's one of those words where you just go, oof, like, because it's one of those words that you think grieving a death. But I'm like, there's death of situations.
Of course.
There's, death of friendship. There's losses and everything. And sometimes, but there's a lot of times where you have to, because again, if you don't grieve that part, you can't move over here. Like I tell my people, I'm like, it's like you got one arm here, but you're still trying to hold on to all that. And it was funny. I even asked my one client that we were talking about the kind of outgrowing, and you could see her struggling. And I go, what is it in you that you're not okay, losing this friendship or, is it? And so sometimes it's like when we stay too long or when we're struggling, it's like, okay, is it them or is it me? Which goes back again to knowing you, what boundaries or, am I allowed or, it's just all these things. But no, absolutely. I would say you have to grieve that.
Yeah. And that's one thing it's the acceptance part of that too. But that of course is a part of the stage of grief. So, but I've noticed that too, of the young adults grieving that part of who they were. Like my son is doing a much better job of doing it, but Anaya, just her personality, she's having a harder time, I think, with that process. So.
Yeah. And, and she's still young too. So like at that age, like if you lose a friend, it's like, oh, the world's ending.
Yeah.
Even if that friend was not a good friend to you,
right.
Because sometimes it is one-sided where you like somebody so much and that, or they don't return that, or they're not as nice to you, but you still like that person. Right. But then the friendship ends and you still grieve that friendship,
Absolutely.
But I think, of course, the older we get,
I know.
more wisdom hopefully we attain.
And it starts to become easier.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And what would you say, TJ, like would be like boundary issues that like you've seen that are either common with people or maybe something that you've experienced with boundary issues in friendships?
Well, I think sometimes you have those friends that they overstep or they overspeak. Right. Like I say, this is what I've told my adult daughters. The more you tell people, the more right you give them to speak into whatever your situation is. Because the first thing that we normally hear is, girl, if I were you, I wouldn't do that. Or girl, you need to just cut him loose. Or girl, you just need to get another job. Girl, if I were you. And my main thing is, but you're not me. Right. I don't want to know what you would do. Right. Because sometimes what your friend would do is not always the right thing to do. But I see a lot of, from friendship to friendship, like a lot of overstepping, or a lot of overspeaking or
unsolicited advice.
Right, unsolicited advice.
One of my things I hate.
Right. Unsolicited advice. And then when you say, well, you know what? I understand that, but I'm going to choose to do this. And then they get all upset. Like that's been a personal experience of mine.